Today we are going to take a departure from the outdoor videos and the shooting videos, although we may incorporate that later on, and we're going to make donuts. There's a lot of equipment required to bake properly, and I think one of the key concepts of French cooking is having everything in its place. They have a term for it, mise en place. Anyway, and it's being organized basically. So that's why when you see these cooking shows, they have these all filled up with ingredients with the right amount of stuff in them, be it salt, be it shortening, flour, etc. And we're going to take some time and do that. We're going to mix the dough up in the mixer. I found the deep fryer down in the basement, cleaned it out, got some fresh oil in it, and got all the things that we need. And we're going to make yeast donuts, and maybe we might even make a zombie donut. When baking, it's probably better to actually use a weight or a scale than to use volume. Frost Girl, would you put 1.5 cups of milk in the saucepan, please? That's 3/4. What's 3/4 times 2?
1.5.
You know your fractions. Frost Girl knows her fractions.
Yeah, I also know my papa annoys me.
Well, that will be edited out.
Come again?
Good job, Frost Girl. Would you take that and put it on the stove on low? And we'll warm that up, and then we'll add the shortening to it. We have 2.5 ounces of shortening. All right, now we need to get the yeast ready for the dough. So Frost Girl's going to get 1/3 cup of warm water and pour it in a bowl. And I'm going to get ready with the yeast. Here was 16 grams of yeast. Alright, we need 24 ounces of all-purpose flour. Just a touch over and that's fine. Alright, we need 1/4 cup of sugar. Right up to the top. Alright, now we're going to put the shortening and the milk in the mixing bowl. The warm milk will break down and melt the shortening. Alright, so the milk and lard have to stay in the mixing bowl, and they're still just a little bit too warm right now to add the yeast. If we add the yeast right now, it might kill the yeast and the donuts won't rise properly. The recipe calls for 1.5 teaspoons of salt, so we're going to put that aside as well. Just to recap, we have our 24 ounces of flour, we have 2 eggs, yeast, salt, sugar, and 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. 1.5 cups of milk and 2.5 ounces of shortening.
Sometimes it just takes a lot.
Alright, so now we have the paddle on the mixer. So now we're going to add our other ingredients. We're going to add the yeast and use that to scrape everything into it. What I'll get you to do is beat 2 eggs in the yeast bowl. And I will add the nutmeg. the sugar and the salt to our mixture. Yeah, just put it there. We'll get a garbage later. We'll use the white cup for the garbage.
Oh.
Alright, now that the eggs are beaten and the child is aggravated, we're going to add those to the mix. So now we're going to add about half of our flour. Alright, turn the mixer on so we don't have to listen to the child. These mixers are wonderful. There's just not a lot of room to add ingredients. Okay, I'm going to get you to hold the camera. Alright, now that it's almost into a nice sticky dough, what I'm going to do is shut the mixer off, scrape down the blade,
Smack that thing against the bowl 1,000 times.
and we're going to put the dough blade on. Flour on my hands. Alright, now we're going to just let that sit for an hour and let that rise. While we do that, we'll probably do some tidying up. So here's our dough after an hour, hour and a half. We're just going to put a little bit of bench flour down. And we need to roll out our dough about ½ an inch thick. So now that the donuts have rested for about 25 minutes, we're going to put 3 in at a time, and I'm going to close the fryer. That's going to be a good one right there. So now we're going to let these cool just a minute and make some chocolate dip donuts. And here we have some donut holes. And our piping bag pierce into the donut, and we're going to fill it with jam. A zombie donut. Dun dun dun.